Today, we witness a love story that feels like a scene from the most beautiful drama ever made. Yet it is not fiction, it is real life, the story of Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun, two stars whose paths crossed under the lights of the camera, but whose hearts met far away from the scripts and the rehearsals. And now, their journey has led to this day, a wedding so magical that even the skies seemed to bless it. The soft spring air carried the scent of cherry blossoms, the kind that fall gently too. The ground like snowflakes, the sun shone warmly but not too brightly, casting a golden glow over the gardens where the ceremony was set. This was not an extravagant palace wedding with thousands of guests, but an intimate celebration surrounded by family, close friends, and a few industry colleagues who knew their love was the real thing. As the guests arrived, they were guided down a path lined with white roses and baby's breath. The music was soft and romantic, a gentle piano melody that seemed to float in the air. At the center of the garden stood an arch made entirely of fresh blooms, delicate whites, pastel pinks, and the faintest touch of peach. It was breathtaking, yet somehow, the flowers could not compete with the radiance on Kim Go-eun's face when she appeared. Her gown was simple yet elegant, long sleeves of sheer lace, a flowing skirt that seemed to catch the light with every step, and a thin veil that framed her face like something out of a painting. She held a bouquet of peonies and gardenias, their scent mingling with the flowers around her. When Lee Min-ho saw her walking down the aisle, his expression softened in a way that spoke louder than any words. He had always been admired for his charm, his confidence, and his striking looks. But in that moment, he was simply a man in love, eyes locked on the woman he was about to marry. His own attire was timeless. A perfectly tailored black tuxedo, crisp white shirt, and a bow tie. But what truly stood out was the warmth in his eyes and the small smile that tugged at his lips as he watched her approach. The ceremony began with a few heartfelt words from the officiant, speaking of love, respect, and the promises that build a strong marriage. The couple exchanged vows they had written themselves. Lee Min-ho spoke first, his voice steady but filled with emotion. He told her how he had never expected that meeting her would change the way he saw life, how she made even the simplest days feel like adventures, how she was his safe place, his partner, his best friend, and now his wife. Kim Go-eun's eyes glistened as she listened, and when it was her turn, she spoke softly, yet every word was clear. She told him how his kindness had reached her in ways she could never explain, how he had taught her the meaning of being loved for exactly who she was, and how she promised to stand by him, through joy, through hardship, through every twist life could bring. By the time they exchanged rings, there was hardly a dry eye in the crowd. The golden bands slid onto their fingers, a quiet but powerful symbol of everything they had just promised. Then, the officiant smiled and said the words everyone had been waiting for, "And now, with the power vested in me, I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." The world seemed to pause in that moment. Lee Min-ho reached for her, his hand gently brushing against her cheek as he leaned in. Kim Go-eun's lips curved into the softest smile. And then, their lips met. It was not a quick peck nor a dramatic movie kiss. It was gentle, lingering, full of emotion, the kind of kiss that spoke of years of love to come, their first kiss as husband and wife. A moment so pure that even the wind seemed to still. The guests erupted in applause, some cheering, others wiping away tears, and as they pulled away slightly, they looked into each other's eyes and shared a quiet laugh. The kind that comes when you know you are exactly where you are meant to be. After the ceremony, the celebration continued under a canopy of fairy lights strung across the garden. The tables were set with delicate china and crystal glasses, each place adorned with a small sprig of rosemary tied with a ribbon. The dinner was warm and heartfelt, not a formal plated meal but a spread of their favorite foods, dishes that reminded them of their childhoods, their travels, and the moments they had shared together. There was laughter and conversation, toasts filled with love and a few playful jokes. One of Lee Min-ho's closest friends stood and shared how he had once said he would never get married, and now here he was, completely devoted and happier than ever. Kim Go-eun's best friend spoke of how she had seen Go-eun's eyes light up whenever Min-ho's name came up, even in the early days when she insisted they were just friends. And as the night went on, the couple shared their first dance. The song was soft, slow, and timeless. They moved together as if the world around them did not exist. He whispered something in her ear that made her smile and blush, their foreheads touching as they swayed in rhythm. The guests watched, some taking photos, others simply letting the beauty of the moment sink in. After the dance, they wandered through the garden together, taking small moments to themselves, away from the crowd. At one point, Min-ho picked a small flower and tucked it into her hair. She laughed and teased him about his choice, but she kept it there, a simple symbol of the day they had just lived. Later in the evening, there was cake, a three-tiered creation adorned with fresh flowers and a subtle hint of gold. They cut it together, feeding each other a small bite, both laughing when a tiny smear of frosting ended up on her lip and he leaned in to kiss it away. It was playful and sweet, much like the two of them. As the celebration drew to a close, the guests gathered once more to send them off, holding sparklers that lit the night. The couple walked hand in hand through the golden glow, stopping at the end to share one last kiss before stepping into the car that would take them to the next chapter of their lives. It was a day that would live forever in their hearts, and in the memories of everyone who witnessed it, not because it was the wedding of two famous stars, but because it was the union of two souls who had found in each other a love that was true, steady, and beautiful. Years from now, they would look back at this day and remember not just the flowers, the music, or the applause, but the feeling of that first kiss as husband and wife, the moment that sealed a promise they intended to keep for a lifetime. And as they drove away, the sound of laughter and music fading behind them, they knew the real adventure was only just beginning. For in the end, a wedding is just one day, but a marriage, their marriage, would be the story of every day that followed, filled with shared dreams, quiet mornings, and yes, many more kisses, but none quite like the first one under the arch of flowers, with the world watching, and their hearts beating in perfect harmony. And so, the fairy tale began, not with once upon a time, but with I do, and a kiss that promised forever.